Savitar has been the mysterious villain of The Flash Season 3, and we're this far through Season 3, and we still have no idea who he is. Since there was no new Flash this week, we decided to comb through your theories and give our responses to him about who is Savitar. Hi, I'm Jason Inman.
And I'm Ashley Victoria Robinson.
Every single week we do a Flash Season 3 recap, but there was no new episode of The Flash this week. So we started going through the comments of our previous week's videos, and we thought that you guys out there probably have a lot of ideas about who Savitar is, and we thought we would read your comments and then respond to them. Ashley, why don't you start us off?
All right, so CatWow says, "Hey Legends, who's Savitar?"
Well, you know, Heatwave, I know who Savitar is.
Why don't you tell us out loud in YouTube land, Heatwave?
I don't give a damn if you know.
If I bring you a beer, will you tell me?
5 beers.
Oh, that's so many beers.
That is true. Why don't they ask the Legends?
I don't know, and I don't know anymore who knows who I mean, Barry definitely knows from the crossover,
Yeah.
but it feels like we very tenuously play with who knows that the Legends are around and who doesn't. But also, you know, why doesn't Barry just run to the future and figure it out?
Well, that's what he's gonna do the next time we see him.
Yeah. So, but it feels like that should have been like solution number one. Should have been, why don't we just call the Legends? Because I'm sure they wouldn't even have to go anywhere. Rip could just Google it by asking Gideon. That's a great question.
It is a writer's problem.
It is,
Like we can't have the Legends come in and just solve the problem because then the show is over.
Yeah.
So, all right, I have Marcelona Britton says, I think the only reason why Barry is still alive is because Savitar is probably future Flash. All right. Now, this is a very popular theory online. Of course, there was a famous storyline by Robert Venditti, I believe, or Fred Van Lante, I'm not certain the writer, where Flash came from the future. He was all black and blue. Savitar has blue lightning. And it was about Barry confronting past Barry to be like, look, man, if you don't start killing, like, some of these criminals, then, you know, everybody you love is going to die.
Yeah.
I don't think Savitar is Barry. One, I don't think he's Barry simply for the reason that I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think that's the point where the plot breaks, that it's too far where you're the enemy. Yes, it works for the prisoner. Go check that reference if you don't know what I'm talking about. But it won't work for the Flash. Also, we did watch the trailer of the upcoming episode, The Once and Future Flash, simply because we have a big gap until there's more Flash now. Next 3 weeks, no Flash. And future Barry shows up in that trailer, and that makes me think that he's not Savitar. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think that Barry is Savitar. I mostly don't want Barry to be Savitar, which is why I would say that. Also, the CW does a really good job at casting guest stars in villainous roles.
Yep.
So I think that this is a character and this is an actor that they've spent some time and some investment in, even if it was only bringing them in for the last maybe 3 or 5 episodes.
So you don't think Savitar is somebody we've seen?
I don't think we know who Savitar is yet.
No, I know. We obviously, that's the reason, that's the whole point of this video.
I don't think we've met Savitar
You don't think
yet.
we've met Savitar yet?
I don't.
Really?
Okay.
Really. Interesting.
So I have a comment from Helsing7747 on the Barry Allen train.
Okay.
I have a theory! Exclamation point.
I have a theory.
My theory is not entirely new, though. Savitar said that in the future, Barry managed to beat him. What if present-day Barry beats future Barry in the upcoming episode by trapping him in the Speed Force and by doing so creates Savitar, aka future Barry, by accident?
I don't think that's going to happen. That again also talks for the whole reason why I don't think future Barry is Savitar, for the simple reason that it's too complicated. And yeah, I know what you're saying out there. The Flash has been like super complicated already, but like,
you're not wrong.
Man, that feels like jumping the shark. And if you don't know what jumping the shark is, it means a point where the television show, Fonzie famously back in Happy Days, if you remember what Happy Days is, jumps a shark in the episode. And it's what many people point to as the exact point that Happy Days was no longer relevant or good.
Yeah.
So I have a theory about the remnants or whatever, the time remnant. I have a comment.
Right.
B Young 808 says, I'm thinking it is the time remnant that Barry sacrificed himself to stop Zoom's magnetar. Instead of burning up and dying, he was pulled back into the Speed Force where he went insane. That Flash would not be able to live the life that current Barry Allen has lived with Joe and Iris. Now, I think of all the Barry Allen's being Savitar theories, that is the most interesting theory because then it would validate the time remnant stuff that happened in season 2 that I thought literally was ridiculous, especially Zoom killing himself just to show that he could.
That we've largely ignored, yeah.
That we've largely ignored. And that is a big moment that Barry beat Zoom because he killed a version of himself. What do you think about the time remnant stuff?
I think the time remnants are silly and I don't want them to come back. So I don't want it to be that. I also, I don't think that Savitar is played by Grant Gustin. Future, past, time remnant, clone saga, brother with blonde hair. I don't think it's a version of Barry Allen. I think, like you said, I think that the time remnant's the same problem with it being Barry Allen. It's too insular, it's too cyclical, it's too
much something we've already done before.
Yeah, so
not really, but sort of.
But it's so derivative of the idea, and we have had Barry struggle a lot with what if I am a bad guy this season, and I think that actually making him the bad guy would not be what my preference would be.
You know, there is an interesting theory about Savitar. I was talking about The Flash to somebody else a couple days ago, and if you look at The Flash, we had season 1 with a speedster villain, where we didn't know the identity. We found the identity about halfway through the season.
Yeah.
Season 2, speedster villain. We didn't know the identity of the speedster. About halfway through, we found out the identity. Season 3, speedster villain. We're more than halfway through. We still have no idea who this guy is.
Yeah.
And I think it's hurting the season.
I would definitely agree. I feel like the reveal should have come probably around episode 15 at the latest.
Yeah, I agree. Do you have another comment?
My next comment is from Slim413. Sorry.
Sounds like a good username.
They said, I think Savitar is Bart Allen. I disagree, but I want Bart Allen to be on the show, and if that's the way it happens, 10 out of 10, and I agree with you.
The only problem with that is, sure, it could be Bart Allen. The only problem with that is that we have not met Bart Allen.
We have not. So introducing him in this way would be strange.
Well, the moment would fall completely flat because we would have no context for who the hell Bart Allen is.
Yeah.
So this reveal would be nothing. That's usually what you want to do with a reveal, especially in story purposes, is that the reveal is a character that we've already met. We have not met Bart Allen, so this would mean nothing to TV viewers.
Yeah.
It would only mean something to comic book viewers.
And we'd only be able to tell if he stepped out wearing the classic Impulse outfit, or like we see him in Young Justice, because whoever you cast isn't gonna look the way he looks on the page.
No. Tinsel XD says Earth 2 Wells is Savitar.
That's interesting.
Now,
and I have a comment to that as well. There are several the Welleses are Savitar, or various versions of Wells is Savitar. I could get behind this. I think it would be so derivative again, like the time remnants, because the first bad guy was a Wells. I don't need more bad. I like my good guy Wells.
Well, the problem I have with this Earth 2 Harry Wells is my favorite version of the Wells, is that it doesn't seem justified. I
guess he's mad at everyone because Jesse's a superhero.
Exactly.
Now?
Jesse went back to Earth 3, and Jesse didn't come visit old Pop, and he's supposedly fake dying now.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
The comment that I have about that is actually from Chris Clark and says, I'm convinced now that Savitar is HR. Only 2 characters on the show have ever called Wally Wallace, Savitar and HR. I didn't notice what Savitar called Wally in the episode that he was commenting on.
Let me real quick. Mara Raba actually says the same thing. I think Savitar is HR. He calls Wally Wallace just like Savitar
I want to say I called that out during that episode when because he is the only other character who's ever called Wally Wallace. But Wallace is his birth name, his full name, so I don't think it is super out of the realm of possibility, especially if he only knows about Wally from maybe historical documents or reports, that he wouldn't know that people call him Wally West.
Well, let me ask you, do you think HR is Savitar?
No, I do not think HR is Savitar, because I don't think HR is evil.
I don't think HR is competent.
Right, I don't think HR has it in him. Now, at the beginning of the season, they did drop this hint that maybe he was evil, but it was just him taking notes for his weird romance novels.
Yeah.
And I think that's people who've maybe either forgotten that connection or want it to be something more. I think HR is really guileless, and I think what you see is what you get with him.
Yeah, I think HR is purely comedy.
Yeah.
Because we had a season that we started off where Cisco was not the comedic relief anymore. So I think HR was specifically brought in to be comedy relief.
Yes.
So I have another comment here. Nuclear Provision / The White Cape says, I think Jay Garrick is Savitar because he's stuck in the Speed Force.
I have another comment too, very similar, from Alan Russett, who says, I think they've actually revealed who Savitar is, Jay Garrick. And I know online a lot of people believe in this theory because he's currently stuck in the Speed Force.
By Barry.
And that's what's driven him crazy, and he's using that to get, or he will use that to get revenge on Barry.
This, I think, is... this is a fair theory. I think there is some validation to that. I personally do not believe it's true. I don't think you're gonna find out that Savitar is Jay Garrick simply for the reason that Jay Garrick being behind the mask was the big reveal of last season.
I agree.
I do think Jay Garrick is gonna be involved with the finale because I think Barry is going to rescue Jay Garrick.
Oh, I don't think that was mentioned lightly, that they were coming back for him.
Yeah.
I think that is going to be, like, the finale might be a 2-part event, and then he's going to round up Wally and Jesse. They're going to go get Jay, and then they're going to use all the speedsters they can to try and save Iris, because you know the final episode is going to be that
1,000,000
scene.
speedsters.
Yeah, with every
we're gonna see
speedster
that,
humanly possible.
Yeah, we're gonna see the exact scene that we've seen over and over and over time again. Except we're missing pieces of that scene, I think.
Yeah, we're missing context, like for what HR is doing there, and whether or not I was gonna say Wally, but I mean
Iris.
Cisco is. And then I was gonna say Carlos. What Cisco's doing at that time, because obviously he's there somewhere, and then whether or not Julian and Caitlin are there, or if they've, again, per my theory, absconded somewhere together.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I agree with you. I still think we don't know everything about that future.
I agree.
The Jay Garrick theory is interesting.
I like it, but I don't agree with it.
I don't agree with it either. I don't agree with it either.
You have another comment?
I do have another comment. Really quickly, we've said a couple of times that why doesn't Barry just go ask Gideon, the future computer, about, hey, who's Savitar, Gideon?
Yeah, and
Bad Adam.
I posited that he didn't know who Gideon was.
Well, no, he does because he talked to Gideon before. But Just Monique brought it up to our point. Gideon is no longer available for our use. They said that all the way back in season 2, and several people have actually said that. Gideon was destroyed by Eobard Thawne in season 1.
Yeah, there we go.
I have another couple crazy theories, unless you have a legit one.
I have one that I mean is as legit as all the other ones we've been talking about. From Jamie Tannock says, did you notice Eddie said to Barry that he was the man Iris loved and Joe's stepson, essentially what Savitar had said to him the week before? So this is another thing where there's been parallel things said, and they think it could be Eddie. I don't like Eddie, so I don't want Eddie to come back. But I think if you were going to do it, this would be a decent way to do it, by making him the bad guy. Because I thought for a while that he was going to be the original villain of season 1.
Eddie.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people thought that.
Yeah, so I think that, like, returning to it here in season 3 wouldn't be the worst thing. I hope that's not the case. I don't mind seeing him show up in the Speed Force, but I just don't need more Eddie Thawne in my life. Give me more Eobard. Eobard or bust.
Eddie, for me, is the exact same problem as everybody calling out that Tommy's going to return on Arrow.
Yeah.
His death means something, and the minute you undo that death, you undo that meaning.
Also, Rick Cosnett is on another show.
Well, also, I don't know if he's on another show anymore.
He has a recurring part on another show.
I mean, one, talk about being confusing. How do you explain that?
You go comics.
Yeah.
Which the Flash leans on from time to time. It definitely does.
I don't think it's Eddie Thawne. I really don't think it's Eddie Thawne. A couple of theories I have.
Yes.
Devon Brown said, wait, so Barry couldn't get the help of Martian Manhunter to go through Kadabra's mind to learn anything they need to know? That's a
good call.
It's a fair point, and that can be simply answered by production. We can't have David Harewood come over here every week.
Yeah.
So I get that. And then John Philippe said, I think that the Flash will learn the infinite mass punch to hit a single space on Savitar's armor so hard that he disintegrates. Or Wally just spits on the Speed Force rules, goes full ham on Savitar through time travel when Savitar has no speed. And we all know that somehow they're going to put Oliver Queen into this. Okay.
I didn't copy this comment, so I can't give credit to it. But somebody commented that they're gonna put in a reason for Oliver to shoot Savitar because I think
the piece.
Because
with
we
the
did
arrow.
talk about like the chinks in his armor and stuff like that. So I think that's funny that that's come up multiple times.
Well, and also the last 2 seasons of Flash, we've always had Oliver show up at like I
love it.
Either the finale or the second to last finale. Hey, I'm fine with that. I like it when they cross over. Do it. I don't know. Infinite Mass Punch is an interesting idea. I don't know if that's going to happen. I would be actually pretty fine with you revealing that scene that Oliver's somewhere on one of those rooftops and he, and like the...
That'd be cool.
And with his arrow. And it's the this piece of Savitar like splits them,
Yeah, that we maybe still have lying around.
Okay, so we heard all these theories. We heard all these things. Let's talk really quickly. Ashley, right now, from what we know right now, from the episodes we've seen, we don't know what's going to happen in Future Flash or anything like that. Who do you think Savitar is? Who's your best guess?
So I feel like the show has given us almost nothing.
I agree.
As far as Savitar is. So the things that I know about Savitar is not a metahuman speedster. Savitar gets his speed somewhere else. I know that Savitar glows blue. And I know that Savitar has the power of manipulation. There's one other character that we haven't seen in Flash this season, but we have seen before, who is not a metahuman, but can use powers, who uses the color blue, and who can convince people to do stuff for him, who just got brought back to life at his most evil, and that is Captain Cold.
You think Captain Cold is Savitar?
I think Captain Cold is Savitar. I really, really do. Because I think that would be awesome.
Explain this theory. I want to hear this
more.
So,
if you've been watching Legends, or if you've been watching our DCTV recaps...
Now, at the time of this video, we have not seen the finale of Legends Season 2, so I just want to point that out.
Oh, yeah, we have not.
Because that could make a big difference on your theory.
It could. You know that we recently brought Captain Cold back to life. He sacrificed himself at the end of Season 1. Captain Cold is a character that is very manipulative. He's really good at getting weaker people to follow him. And we also know that in the future, Killer Frost turns evil. And I think that if there's a chance that Killer Frost is going to be convinced to be evil, that Captain Cold might be somebody who could do that. He's got a similar power set, so he could be like, I understand you, and I hate Barry Allen too, but now I can kill him, so come kill him with me. And I also think that Captain Cold is a very important character in the Flash Pantheon, Rogues Gallery, whatever you want to call it. But we haven't had a huge, epic season-ending showdown for him, and I think this would be a really cool way to do it.
All right, I will say from what we know right now about Savitar, I do agree with you. They haven't told us jack. Like, really nothing. My best guess, and this is a weird guess, because here's what I'll say. I don't think it's Joe West. I actually don't think it's any of the Flash crew now. I do not think it's Julian Alpert anymore.
I don't think so.
I do not think it's HR. I do not think it's Harrison Wells from Earth 2. I don't think it's Jay Garrick. I don't know. Like, right now, I'm starting to think that maybe it's a character that we saw in Season 1 and Season 2 and only maybe an episode or a guest spot, and that somehow they've been brought back to this. Part of me wants to say, like, maybe it was Velocity, but I think that they killed her in that episode. Part of me wanted to be like, well, maybe it's Rival brought back somehow, but I think he's dead as well. So, you know what? I'm going to go to a character that we haven't seen in a long time that's in the Flash universe. I'm going to say it's Pied Piper.
Oh, I would love that. I love him.
I'm just reaching out because I really think that it has to be somebody that we know. It is not a new character, and I see where you went down the Captain Cold route, and the blue is a nice connection. Pied Piper more green, but I think...
I mean, it's not the best connection, but it's pretty much all I've got.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just going out there like Pied Piper, because I'll be honest with you, I have no idea. And I don't think they've given us enough to come up with a theory yet.
I would agree. I would say this is probably a reaction to the first 2 seasons. I know there was criticism that they gave it too much away because we knew... We were able to figure out Eobard Thawne pretty quick. And then the Jay Garrick signs were there if you were looking for them. They are definitely there. And I feel like in reaction to that, they pulled every little clue they can away from us, which is a little bit frustrating as close as we are to the end of the season, which is unfortunate. I also think they changed it. Oh, do you? I do. I really do. I think that about Legends Season 1. I really do. I think they changed the identity of Savitar halfway through the season because of I also thought that about Teddy Sears last season. I thought Jay Garrick that the change came later on.
Well,
down the
because I
line.
really think that there are a lot of signs early in this season that really point to Julian Alpert being Savitar.
I agree.
And then suddenly there's no signs pointing toward
Now he's like buddy guy to
yeah,
Flash
yeah.
dude.
So I really think they changed it. Again, I'm just gonna stick with Pied Piper because I think if we reveal that Pied Piper is inside that Savitar suit, it would make a big impression on the cast. We all know who he was. He's kind of, remember, in season 2, Flash went back to the past with Eobard Thawne. When he came back, he found out that Pied Piper was one of their friends now.
I loved that.
And they've kind of just glossed over it because the actor's been busy. So
yeah.
I'm just going Pied Piper. I don't know who the hell Savitar is.
I agree.
All right, everyone, we want you to go down to the comments and tell us who you think Savitar is based on the information we know. And while you're down there, click subscribe.
And why not click on one of the videos on the screen? We know you're going to love them. If you like this and want to help us create more exclusive content, head on over to patreon.com/Jawiin. Throw a little support our way and we can keep making cool, geeky videos for you.
Yes, we'd love to get to where we have a video every single day of the week, but we can only do that with your help over at Patreon. See you next week, you Flash friends, for another Flash Theory video.